I was arranging the Christmas cookies on my grandmother's porcelain platter when I noticed David's hands trembling. Not the gentle shake of cold from the December air, but the kind of tremor that comes from fear. He was standing at the kitchen island, carefully chopping pecans for the pie I'd asked him to help with, and every few seconds, his eyes would dart toward the living room where my daughter Emily was on a phone call with her boss. "You doing okay, sweetheart?" I asked, keeping my voice light. David's smile appeared too quickly, too bright. "Of course, Mrs. Patterson. Just want to get these chopped perfectly for you." He was 32 years old, a grown man, but something about the way he said it reminded me of a child desperate to avoid disappointing a parent. I'd only met David 3 times before today. Emily had been dating him for 8 months, and they'd gotten engaged 2 months ago. She'd brought him home to Denver for Christmas, and this was our first real time together as a family. "David, honey, they're pecans for a pie, not diamonds," I said with a laugh. "You could chop them with your eyes closed and they'd be fine." His laugh was nervous. "Emily likes things done right." Before I could respond, I heard my daughter's voice from the living room, sharp and clear. "David, where did you put my charger?" David's entire body went rigid. The knife stopped mid-chop. "I need to go," he said quietly, setting down the knife with the precision of someone defusing a bomb. I watched him hurry out of the kitchen, his shoulders hunched slightly forward. Through the doorway, I could see Emily holding out her hand expectantly. David pulled her charger from his pocket, and she took it without looking at him, still talking on her phone. He stood there for a moment, as if waiting to be dismissed, before returning to the kitchen. "Sorry about that," he said, picking up the knife again. "David, why did you have her charger in your pocket?" "Oh, she asked me to hold it earlier. She doesn't like carrying a purse when we're out." He said it matter-of-factly, as if this were the most normal thing in the world. I opened my mouth to ask another question, but Emily walked into the kitchen, her phone call finished. She was beautiful, my Emily, 30 years old, with my dark hair and her father's green eyes. She had her father's ambition, too. She'd made partner at her law firm at 28, the youngest in the firm's history. "How's dinner coming, Mom?" Emily asked, sliding her arm around David's waist. To anyone else, it would have looked affectionate. But I noticed how David stiffened slightly, how he immediately set down the knife and turned his full attention to her. "Just about ready. Your dad's carving the ham now." "David, did you remember to bring in the wine from the car?" Emily asked. "I brought in the red, but you said you wanted me to wait on the white until—" I said bring in both. Her voice was still pleasant, but something in her tone made David's face flush. "Right, sorry. I'll get it now." He started toward the door. "No, it's fine. It's probably warm by now anyway. We'll just drink the red." Emily sighed, the kind of sigh that said this wasn't the first time David had disappointed her today. "I can go get ice." "Put it in an ice bucket." "David, it's fine." She squeezed his arm, smiling. "Just be more careful next time, okay?" "Okay. I'm sorry." I felt something cold settle in my stomach. I'd heard that tone before. 35 years ago, in a different kitchen, with a different man. My first husband, Emily's biological father, had spoken to me exactly like that. Patient on the surface, disappointed underneath, making sure I knew I'd failed. After dinner, we sat in the living room opening presents. My husband Robert had built a fire, and the whole scene should have been perfect. Norman Rockwell perfect. But I couldn't stop watching Emily and David. She opened his gift to her first. A pair of diamond earrings, beautiful, expensive. She held them up to the light, smiled, kissed his cheek. "These are lovely, baby. Though you know I prefer platinum to white gold." "They are platinum," David said quietly. "Are they?" "They look white gold in this light." She set them back in the box. "Well, I'm sure they'll look better in natural light." David's face fell for just a second before he rearranged it into a smile. When he opened her gift to him, a watch, he was effusive in his praise. "This is too much, Em. This must have cost." "Don't worry about the cost," she said. "I make enough for both of us." Robert shot me a look across the room. He'd noticed it too. Later, when Emily went upstairs to take a shower, I found David in the kitchen, washing dishes even though I'd told everyone to leave them. "You don't have to do that, David." "I don't mind. I like being helpful." He scrubbed at a plate that was already clean. I picked up a towel and started drying. So, tell me about yourself. Emily's been so busy with work, we haven't had much time to really get to know you. There's not much to tell. I'm an accountant. Pretty boring compared to Emily. I doubt that. Where are you from originally? Seattle. But I moved to Phoenix for work about 2 years ago. Phoenix is where you met Emily? Yes, ma'am. At a charity gala. She was the most beautiful woman in the room. His face softened when he talked about her. Do you get back to Seattle often? To see your family? Something flickered across his face. Not really. Emily's firm keeps her pretty busy, and it's hard for me to get away when she can't come with me. But surely you could go alone for a weekend? I could. But... He scrubbed harder at the plate. Emily doesn't really like me traveling without her, she worries. The cold feeling in my stomach grew colder. Worries about what? Just, She likes us to do things together. She says that's what partnership means. He said it like he was reciting something he'd been taught. Before I could respond, I heard Emily's voice from upstairs. David? David, where are you? David immediately set down the plate. I should go. She probably needs something. David, wait. But he was already gone, taking the stairs 2 at a time. That night, I lay awake next to Robert, staring at the ceiling. You saw it too, didn't you? Robert whispered. I don't want to jump to conclusions, Margaret. I've known you for 28 years. I know what you're thinking. I rolled over to face him. She treats him like he's incompetent, like he can't do anything right. She's always been a perfectionist. This is different. I couldn't say it. Couldn't say that my successful, brilliant daughter might be doing to David what my first husband had done to me. Maybe talk to her tomorrow, Robert suggested. When David's out with me getting the Christmas tree. I'd forgotten. Robert had invited David to go choose a real tree for the living room, a Patterson family tradition. Emily had declined, saying she had work calls to make. The next morning, I made coffee and waited for Emily to come downstairs. When she did, she was already dressed in crisp slacks and a cashmere sweater, her hair perfect. Morning, Mom. Is David up yet? He's out with Robert getting the tree. He didn't tell me he was going out. She frowned, pulling out her phone. Emily, can we talk? She looked up from her phone. Sure. What's up? I took a breath. How are things with you and David? Things are great. Why? I noticed yesterday that you seem a little hard on him sometimes. Her expression cooled. Hard on him how? The wine, the earrings, just little things where it seemed like he couldn't do anything right. Emily laughed, but it wasn't a warm sound. Mom, David is wonderful, but he can be a little scattered. I'm just helping him be his best self. By criticizing everything he does? I'm not criticizing. I'm providing feedback. That's what good partners do. She sipped her coffee. David has some confidence issues. He had a tough childhood, and he sometimes needs guidance. I'm helping him. It was exactly what my first husband used to say. I'm helping you be better. I'm helping you reach your potential. I'm helping you because I love you. Emily, does David have any friends here in Phoenix? He has work friends. Does he see them? Sometimes, when I'm not too busy. I don't like him going out without me. You know how men can be when they're in groups. They make bad decisions. My hands tightened around my coffee mug. What kind of bad decisions? Just, drinking too much, spending money carelessly. David's not good with money. I handle all our finances now. It's easier that way. Does he have access to his own bank account? Emily's eyes narrowed. Where is this coming from? I'm just trying to understand. We're partners, Mom. We share everything. David agreed this was better. He was in some credit card debt when we met, and I helped him get out of it. Now I manage the money, so he doesn't fall back into bad habits. But does he have his own? Why are you interrogating me about my relationship? Emily's voice had gone sharp. David and I are fine. Better than fine. We're getting married in 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Emily, you never told me the wedding was so soon. It's just going to be small. At the courthouse. We didn't want a big fuss. But you've always wanted a big wedding. You had that whole scrapbook when you were 12. I grew up. I realized big weddings are a waste of money. She stood up. I have some calls to make. We'll talk later. She left me sitting there, my mind racing. A small courthouse wedding in 3 weeks. David with no access to money, no friends, not allowed to travel alone. Emily helping him be better by controlling every aspect of his life. I thought about my first marriage, how it had started with small things. Don't wear that. It makes you look fat. Don't see those friends. They're bad influences. Let me handle the money. You're not good at it. By the time I'd realized I was trapped, I'd been isolated from everyone who could have helped me. But I'd gotten out. I'd rebuilt my life. I'd met Robert, had a second chance at happiness. I'd raised Emily to be strong and independent, to never let anyone control her. I'd never imagined she might become the controller. When Robert and David returned with the tree, David was smiling more genuinely than I'd seen yet. He and Robert were laughing about something, and David looked younger, lighter. "That's a beautiful tree," I said. "David picked it out," Robert said, clapping him on the shoulder. "Good eye." Emily appeared from upstairs. "It's crooked." The light went out of David's face. "We can adjust it. It's fine. It's just a tree." But her tone said it wasn't fine. While Robert and David set up the tree, I went upstairs to get more decorations from the hall closet. As I passed the guest room where Emily and David were staying, I noticed David's jacket draped over a chair, and sticking out of the pocket was the corner of a phone. That was odd. I'd seen David with his phone earlier, a newer iPhone with a black case. This phone had a blue case and looked older. I shouldn't have. I know I shouldn't have. But something made me pull it out and turn it on. The battery was low, but it was still on. And when the screen lit up, I saw dozens of unread text messages, all from the same contact. Jamie. My hands shaking, I opened the messages. Jamie. David, please answer. I'm worried about you. Jamie. It's been 3 months since I've heard from you. Did I do something wrong? Jamie. Your mom called me. She said Emily told her you don't want to talk to your family anymore. That can't be true. Please tell me that's not true. Jamie. I miss my best friend. Whatever I did, I'm sorry. The messages went on, getting more desperate. The last one was from 2 days ago. Jamie, I know you're in Denver for Christmas. Your mom told me. I'm flying there tomorrow. I'm staying at the Marriott downtown, room 412. If you can get away, please come, even for 5 minutes. I need to know you're okay. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I scrolled up, reading more messages. Jamie had been David's best friend since college. They'd been inseparable. Until David met Emily. There were older messages from David too, before the conversation went one-sided. David, Em says you're a bad influence. She says you encourage me to drink too much. Jamie. David, we had 1 beer last week. What is she talking about? David. She just wants what's best for me. Jamie. What happened to the job interview in Seattle? Did you take it? David. Em doesn't want to move. Her career is in Phoenix. Jamie. But it was your dream job. You've been trying to get into that firm for years. David. I have to go. Em needs me. After that, David's messages stopped. Only Jamie's continued, unanswered, for months. I heard footsteps on the stairs. Quickly, I shoved the phone back in the jacket pocket and grabbed a box of ornaments. Emily appeared in the hallway. What are you doing? Just getting decorations. I held up the box. She looked at me suspiciously, then at the guest room door. Did you need something from our room? No. I was just walking past. Okay. She didn't sound convinced. I went back downstairs, my mind reeling. I had to talk to David. But how, with Emily watching his every move? That evening, I got my chance. Emily had gone to the store to get more wine, insisting on going alone because David never picked the right brands. Robert was in his study on a work call. I found David on the back porch, staring out at our snow-covered yard. Mind if I join you? I asked. Of course not, Mrs. Patterson. I sat down next to him on the porch swing. David, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me. Are you happy? He was quiet for a long moment. What kind of question is that? The kind a mother asks when she sees someone she cares about struggling. I'm not struggling. Emily and I are fine. David, I saw the phone in your jacket. His face went white. That's not, I can explain. You don't need to explain. I read some of the messages from Jamie. Oh God. He put his head in his hands. Emily's going to kill me. She made me promise to throw that phone away. She gave me a new one, said we'd start fresh, and I promised I'd get rid of the old one, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. Why did Emily want you to throw it away? She said it was too painful for me. All those contacts from my old life, people who didn't support our relationship. She said it was healthier to make a clean break. What about Jamie? Why can't you talk to Jamie? David's eyes were wet. Emily says Jamie is toxic, that he was always trying to undermine our relationship, make me doubt Emily. She said I had to choose between them, and I chose Emily because I love her. Did Jamie try to undermine your relationship? He had some concerns about how fast we were moving, about Emily wanting me to move in with her after only 2 months, about her wanting to handle my finances. But he just didn't understand. Emily loves me. She's helping me become a better person. I felt like I was looking at myself 35 years ago, making excuses for behavior I knew was wrong. David, has Emily ever hurt you? What? No. Never. Emily would never. I don't mean physically. Has she ever made you feel small? Stupid? Like you can't do anything, right? He looked away. She just has high standards. Does she control where you go? We make decisions together. Does she control your money? We share finances. Can you access the bank account whenever you want? He was quiet. David, answer me. I don't need to. Emily handles it. She's better at it than me. Have you tried? To access it? He swallowed hard. She set up the accounts in her name only. For tax purposes. She said she'd add me after we got married. But you've been engaged for 2 months. You've been together for 8 months. Why not add you now? She said it's easier to do it all at once after the wedding. And when is the wedding? 3 weeks, January 15th. That's very soon. Emily wanted to get married before her big case starts in February. It made sense. David, does Emily ever threaten to leave you if you don't do what she wants? His silence was answer enough. I took his hand. Sweetheart, I need to tell you something. I need you to really hear me. What Emily is doing to you is not love, it's control. You don't understand. I do understand. I understand better than you think. I took a deep breath. Emily's biological father, my first husband, he did the same things to me. It started small, criticizing my clothes, my friends, how I spent money. Then he took over the finances. Then he isolated me from my family. By the time I realized I was trapped, I had no money, no friends, no one to turn to. But Emily's not, she's not like that. She loves me. I'm sure she does, in her own way. But love doesn't demand you cut off your best friend. Love doesn't require you to give up your career dreams. Love doesn't make you hide a phone because you're afraid of what will happen if you're caught. David was crying now, silent tears running down his face. I don't know what to do. The wedding is in 3 weeks. All her friends and colleagues are coming. If I back out now, she'll be humiliated. She'll hate me. What will you do if you don't back out? Spend the next 30 years asking permission to see your own mother? Having no access to your own money? Walking on eggshells so you don't upset her? I love her. I know you do. That's what makes this so hard. I squeezed his hand. But loving someone doesn't mean you have to let them hurt you. We sat in silence for several minutes. Then David said quietly, Jamie's here, in Denver, at the Marriott. I know. I saw the message. I want to see him. I haven't seen him in 6 months. Emily made me block his number on my new phone, but I miss him so much. His voice broke. Then you should see him. Emily won't let me. Emily doesn't have to know. He looked at me, eyes wide. I can't lie to her. Why not? Does she tell you everything? Does she tell you when she talks to her ex-boyfriend from law school? When she has lunch with male colleagues? That's different. Emily's trustworthy. I'm the one with the problem. David, listen to yourself. Do you really believe you're untrustworthy? Or is that what Emily's told you so many times that you've started to believe it? He put his face in his hands again. I don't know what's real anymore. That's when I knew for certain. That was exactly how I'd felt with my first husband. Like reality itself had become negotiable. Like I couldn't trust my own perceptions. Tomorrow, I said firmly, Emily has that work call at 2. It usually takes at least an hour. Robert will drive you to the Marriott. You'll see Jamie. You'll talk to your best friend. And then you'll decide what you want to do. What if Emily finds out? We'll deal with that if it happens. She'll be so angry. Let her be angry. You have a right to see your friend. That night, I told Robert the plan. He was horrified at first, then determined. If that girl is doing to David what I think she's doing, we have to help him, Robert said. She's our daughter. And that makes it worse, not better. We didn't raise her to be like this, Margaret. I know. I felt sick. But I don't know how this happened. I gave her everything I didn't have. Independence, confidence, education. Maybe too much, Robert said quietly. Maybe we overcompensated. You were so determined she'd never be a victim that we never taught her not to be a victimizer. I wanted to argue, but I couldn't. He was right. The next day, at 1:45, Emily settled into the guest room for her conference call. Robert casually mentioned he needed to run to the hardware store and asked if David wanted to come along. Emily barely looked up from her laptop. Make it quick. I want him back before dinner. We waited until they were gone, until we heard Emily's voice through the door talking to her colleagues. Then I went into the guest room and very carefully removed the hidden phone from David's jacket. I texted Jamie. This is David's future mother-in-law. He's on his way to see you. Room 412. He can't stay long. Please help him. Jamie responded immediately. Is he okay? No. But we're trying to fix that. Thank you. Robert later told me what happened at the Marriott. How Jamie had been waiting in the lobby, how he'd nearly cried when he saw David, how they'd gone up to the room and talked for 45 minutes. How David had broken down, finally admitting out loud what he'd been denying to himself. It was like watching someone wake up from a nightmare, Robert said. Jamie showed him text messages Emily had sent from David's phone without his knowledge, messages telling people David didn't want to see them anymore. David had no idea Emily had done that. What did he decide? Jamie's helping him. They're going to his bank tomorrow to see what he can access. Jamie's also talked to a lawyer friend about getting out of the lease on the apartment he shares with Emily. What about the wedding? He's going to cancel it, but he's terrified. That night at dinner, Emily was in a good mood. Her conference call had gone well. She even complimented the pot roast I'd made and suggested David have seconds. You're too skinny, baby, she said, rubbing his back. You need to eat more. David smiled weakly. I'm full, Em. Nonsense. You're wasting away. Mom, give him more pot roast. I watched David's face as I put more food on his plate, food he clearly didn't want. He ate it mechanically, his eyes down. After dinner, Emily's phone rang. I have to take this, she said, stepping out onto the porch. The moment she was gone, David leaned across the table. She knows, he whispered. What? She knows I saw Jamie. She didn't say anything, but she knows. She keeps looking at me weird. David, even if she knows. You don't understand. She'll make me pay for this. His hands were shaking. Last time I disobeyed her, she canceled my phone plan. Said it was to save money. But really it was to punish me. I had no phone for 3 days until I apologized. Robert and I exchanged looks. David, Robert said carefully, do you have somewhere safe you can go? Tonight? What do you mean? I mean, if you're afraid of how Emily will react, you don't have to stay here with her. I can't just leave. She's your daughter. This is your house. And you're our guest. A guest who we're worried about. Emily came back inside before David could respond. David, we're leaving in the morning. I just got an email. My case got moved up. We need to be back in Phoenix by Wednesday. But Christmas is tomorrow, I said. I know, Mom. I'm sorry. But work comes first. She looked at David. Go pack. We need to be at the airport by 6 a.m. But the wedding, David started. What about it? I thought maybe we could talk about postponing it, with your case and everything. Emily's smile didn't reach her eyes. We're not postponing. We've been planning this for 2 months. You're not backing out now. I'm not backing out. I just thought, well, don't think. That's my job. Your job is to show up at the courthouse on January 15th and marry me. Can you handle that? The room was silent. I watched my daughter, this woman I'd raised, and saw a stranger. Yes, David said quietly. I can handle that. Good. Now go pack. He left the room like a kicked dog. Emily turned to us, her face pleasantly arranged. Sorry to cut the visit short, you understand. Emily, I said carefully, can we talk? Just you and me? Mom, I'm really tired. It'll just take a minute. She sighed dramatically, but followed me into the kitchen. I closed the door. What's going on between you and David? I asked. Nothing's going on. Everything's fine. It doesn't look fine. It looks like you're punishing him for something. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm managing a relationship with a man who has serious confidence issues. You don't know what it's like, dealing with his anxiety every day. His anxiety or the anxiety you create? Her eyes flashed. Excuse me? Emily, I've watched you this whole visit. The way you talk to him, the way you control him, it's not healthy. You have no idea what you're talking about. I have every idea. I lived it. With your father? My father was abusive. I'm not abusive. I'm protective. You've isolated him from his friends. You control his money. You don't let him make any decisions without your approval. He wants me to do those things. He asked me to help him. He was a mess when I met him. Or maybe you saw someone vulnerable and decided to shape him into what you wanted. Emily's face went cold. Wow. Thanks for the support, Mom. Really feeling the Christmas love here. I love you, Emily. That's why I'm saying this. No, you love judging me. You always have. Nothing I do is ever good enough for you. She grabbed her coat. We're leaving tonight. I'll get a hotel near the airport. Emily, please. Tell Dad I said Merry Christmas. She stormed out. I heard her calling for David, heard them gathering their things. Robert came into the kitchen. Should I stop them? He asked. Before I could answer, David appeared in the doorway. His eyes were red. I'm sorry, he said. I'm sorry for causing trouble. You didn't cause anything, sweetheart, I said. He pressed something into my hand. The hidden phone. Jamie's number is in there. If something happens, just call him. Please. David, you don't have to go with her. You can stay here. I have to. She's right. I made a commitment. He looked broken. Maybe she's right about me. Maybe I do need her to manage things. David. But he was already gone. We heard the car start, heard them drive away into the night. I looked down at the phone in my hand. We have to do something, Robert said. What can we do? He's an adult. He has to make his own choices. Margaret, if this were a woman being isolated and controlled by a man, would you say the same thing? He was right. I wouldn't. I pulled up Jamie's contact and called. Hello? A man's voice, wary. Jamie, this is Margaret Patterson, David's future mother-in-law. I met with you at the Marriott. Oh God, is David okay? I've been texting him, but he's not responding. They left tonight. Emily's taking him back to Phoenix. But before he left, he gave me this phone and told me to call you if something happened. Something's already happening. Mrs. Patterson, I've been doing research. What Emily's doing has a name. It's called coercive control. It's a form of domestic abuse. I know. I lived through it myself. Then you know we have to get him out. The wedding's in 3 weeks. Once they're married, it'll be so much harder. She'll have legal rights to everything. What can we do? I have a plan. But I need your help. Over the next 2 hours, Jamie and I worked out the details. He'd fly to Phoenix. He'd already contacted David's mother and siblings, who were horrified by what they'd learned. None of them had known Emily had cut them off, telling them David didn't want contact. We're going to stage an intervention, Jamie said. The day before the wedding, when she's at work and can't interfere, David's mom is flying in, his sister too. We're going to show him he's not alone, that he has people who love him and will help him leave. What if he won't leave? Then at least we tried. At least he'll know he has a choice. On January 14th, I got a call from Jamie. It's happening. We're at his apartment. David's mom is here, his sister, me. Emily's at work. We're talking to him. And he's crying. He's scared. But I think he's hearing us. 2 hours later, Jamie called back. He's packing. We're taking him to his mom's house in Seattle. He's safe. I started crying. Relief, fear, guilt, all mixed together. What about Emily? I asked. David texted her. Told her the wedding's off. Told her he's done. She's going to lose her mind. Let her. She doesn't get to control him anymore. An hour later, my phone rang. Emily's name on the screen. I answered. How could you? she screamed. "How could you do this to me?" "Emily. He was mine. We were getting married. You ruined it. You and that poisonous friend of his." "Emily, David made his own choice. He wouldn't have if you hadn't interfered. He loved me. We were happy." "Were you happy? Or were you happy because you had complete control?" "You don't understand. David needs me. He's nothing without me." And there it was, the core belief, the thing that had been driving her behavior all along. "Emily, David is a complete person without you. He doesn't need you to manage his life." "Yes, he does. He was a mess when I met him. I fixed him. I made him better." "You didn't fix him. You broke him down until he thought he needed fixing." She was sobbing now. "Why are you taking his side? I'm your daughter, and I love you. But love doesn't mean supporting you when you're hurting someone. I never hurt him. I loved him." "Emily, sweetheart, I know you believe that. But love doesn't look like what you had. Love doesn't require someone to give up their friends, their family, their autonomy. You did this because of Dad, because of what he did to you. You're projecting." "Maybe I am. But that doesn't mean I'm wrong about David." She hung up on me. "That was 3 months ago. Emily hasn't spoken to me since. She sends emails to Robert about legal matters regarding her trust fund, but she won't take my calls. David, on the other hand, sends me photos sometimes. Him and Jamie at a Seahawks game. Him at his new job in Seattle, the dream job he'd given up for Emily. Him at dinner with his family. In the last photo, he was smiling. A real smile, the kind that reaches the eyes. Last week, I got an email from Emily's therapist. Emily had given permission for her to contact me. The email said Emily was working through some things, beginning to understand patterns in her behavior that she'd never recognized before. "She's not ready to talk yet," the therapist wrote, "but she wanted you to know she's trying." I cried when I read that. Because despite everything, she's still my daughter. I still love her. I still hope she can heal, can become the person I know she can be. But I don't regret what I did. I don't regret helping David escape. Because I learned something important 35 years ago when I left my first husband, something I had to relearn when I saw my daughter becoming an abuser. Real love doesn't control. Real love doesn't diminish. Real love doesn't require someone to make themselves smaller. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is protect someone from the person they love, even when that person is your own child.